Oh my God!
What's up, Brian?
Look how.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
But look how pure his skin looks.
You look like a porcelain doll.
Oh, thank you.
Is that a filter?
Is that no? It's Zoom.
You're using it's like one of those like Chinese girls in the webcams. As soon as the filter kind of disconnects, you can see like what they really look like.
Interestingly, Dean knows a lot about that.
I do.
Well, let me tell you something. These cameras are one of the most unflattering cameras in the world. So imagine how beautiful I look in real life.
You must look fucking amazing. Jesus Christ! What have you changed your entire life and transcended? What the fuck has happened?
No,
He's been clean for
every
a day.
day. Another millimeter of the gun goes down my throat. So I don't know.
But it's almost like a complete lack of comedy has really helped you. Like it's this lack of comedy lifestyle.
You're actually tackling your real
There's been a
issues.
lack of comedy my whole life. So.
Okay. Holy shit! Thank you so much. Are we actually recording?
Yeah,
this?
we are recording. Shall
Okay,
we get going?
Wiki.
Sounds like a shitty Quentin Tarantino knockoff movie. It's about to start.
Welcome to the XYZ podcast. XYZ, fuck. These guys have groomed me.
You fucking
I'm pretty sure you got it right the first time, my friend.
Absolutely nailed it.
It's the extra American testosterone we have on the show today. so I'm here with Dean and Christian as fuck with who we are, and I'm Harry. We have fantastically we tricked Bryan Vokey, a big fan. We're all big fans. We've done comedy together. You came to Switzerland. You were amazing. I'm just going to say a lot of really awkward. Like Brian is. He's a wonderful comic. I've seen him move audiences to tears and laughter. And
are you coming? Are you coming?
And his skin looks
close.
His skin looks so amazing now. It's like I can't like seeing Brian right now. He's looking amazing over Zoom. Let's get. How should I keep going?
Okay, Harry should just continue going. I want to see Harry flail. Are you done?
No, I can keep going like this for a while.
Hold up. This is the first episode we've ever recorded, Harry,
Brian is
with video.
also,
Hold up. And you just skipped the whole thing. You're like, fuck these guys. This is me and Brian going to have a little circle jerk and ignore the fact that no one's ever seen our face before.
Yeah, fuck the viewers home.
That was more of a straight line jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There was no edging. Nothing.
There was no curves in that jerk.
You need to be a group to be a circle jerk. That's, what have you never been to prison? Jesus.
It's a prison thing.
Do they have prisons in Switzerland, or do they just send you to
more like hotels?
Yeah. I come from South Africa, man. They go straight for the butthole. There's no circle jerking.
It's just a cell with.
I think I'd rather be in. Come from one of the few countries I'd rather be in an American prison.
What is tradition there? Do they actually give it a courtesy spit before penetrating, or?
Your prison guards are all like wild boars and shit.
Yeah, they use elephant tusks as a aphrodisiac,
So we're drinking Bulmer's cider, the sparkling cider that sparkles on your tongue. We're not sponsored by these guys. We're just talking shit. We're pretending like we're sponsored. Yeah. Brian, are you drinking? That looked like tea.
Yeah, this is a turmeric ginger tea.
What the fuck?
What the hell happened?
I got beautiful radiating skin, my friend. I live in Los Angeles. Let's not mince words here.
This sounded more like you live in Portland. What the fuck is going on?
That is the tea you need for good shitting. That tea will.
Harry nailed it.
Yeah, that tea turns your intestines into.
Wait. Is this like the better version of coffee?
No, well, there's no caffeine in it, but Harry is onto something here. What happens is, as soon as the sun goes down, I turn into a fat monster and eat just everything in sight, and then I spend the morning trying to fix my gut, and it's a vicious seesaw of hell.
Yeah, but I mean, I know this because I'm 47. How you're approaching the 40s? Okay, you got a way to go, but the massive intestinal damage you've already done means that you're already on the turmeric tea.
Yeah, you grew up with high fructose syrup, so
At McDonald's, yeah.
yeah, that fucks you up.
Show us your man boobs there, Brian.
Well, no, there's too much support. It would take forever.
So let's dive straight into a topic, Brian. Lockdown. What's your go-to porn category?
Go-to porn category. Well, here's the thing. Listen, you want some unbridled honesty here. This is gonna kill the mood. But since I recently weaned myself off hair loss medication, I've been trying to jack from memory to just make sure everything is functioning properly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Organic masturbation.
That's right. The turmeric ginger of porn.
I thought this was a myth. I didn't think that could happen.
Is there like a like a scene that you'd like to describe?
Why did you get so close to the microphone when you said that?
I like that's
I'm wondering the same thing.
Harry has a tendency to be very, very creepy about shit. Hey, but this is interesting. So, how does your wank bank work? So, is stuff scratched
real
out?
Experience. There's no imagination. It's all memory.
It's all memory. All memory.
Is this like an ex-girlfriend or like that time in kindergarten? Like, where does it come from?
No, it's all age-appropriate memories.
There's a girl on the bus I once saw.
I legally am only allowed to go back about 5 girlfriends.
But have you announced on Instagram that that's what you're doing? Like, I think.
No, I have not announced on Instagram. In fact, I had a little bit of a freak out, deleted my Instagram, and now I'm underground with a little tiny Instagram account. And I feel like these people don't really need to know that about me.
The little tiny followers that you have on your Instagram account. Why did you delete Instagram in the first place?
Well, so when you make the kind of jokes I make, sometimes you tend to irritate communities. And some communities are more organized than others, as I have found out. And,
wow!
Oh God!
Holy shit! You're almost like you halfway cancelled, basically.
Yeah, I was canceled in a vacuum because I got in trouble with. I'm not even going to say their names because it feels like a.
Don't.
Yeah, it's going to invoke some bad demons or something, but. I got into it with a very subcultural ethnic community within the United States that nobody else really cares about. So it was just that it wasn't like I said anything about like gay people or white women or what. It's not one of those ones where everybody jumps on. So it was just 3 of us versus this little tight knit community. But boy, did they wage hell on me.
What did you say to the Ethiopians in New York?
Yeah, no problem with the Ethiopians. I eat with my hands too, so I got no issues with that.
Do you want to give context to this? This is scary. I'm worried now as well. Brian's fucking pissed off the whole BLM.
It's all blown over, and it was just like, first of all, I overreacted as far as there was a lot of death threats, a lot of rape threats to female members of my family and friends. Yeah. So I had to call my cousin. I was like, hey, if anybody like sexually assaults you, like, listen, it's not about you.
Don't take it personally.
They're just trying to get to me.
Oh my God.
That's the funniest shit ever. One of the weirdest phone calls that I can imagine is like, sorry, you know how society works and you guys get raped all the time. This time it's because of me.
Well, I'll tell you this. I knew they were bluffing, and it put me back in touch with some cousins I hadn't talked to in years. And now, they're
the old Italian mafia.
Yeah, no, I will be, next time I come to Switzerland, I will be talking about that in real specifics, because...
Can I go into this next time you come to Switzerland? Actually, so you're one of very few people that actually made it across the pond and play here. And
yes.
I found that fascinating too. I was touring with you a little bit.
Yes.
How was your perception of doing comedy in Switzerland? Because you've done it a few times, right?
Yes. Well, I got to tell you, I had a real come to Jesus moment last tour because I was bombing just all over that goddamn country.
Welcome to Switzerland, man.
Yeah, no, it wasn't though, because I go back and I look at the videos. I have them all filmed, and it was definitely me. It was definitely me, and I realized that it's, first of all, you're a quiet country. None of you are Swiss, right?
I am.
Christian is, but he's.
Where are you from?
I'm from Bern.
From Bern. Okay. Yeah. That was a pretty. Wait, Bern is. No, that was a great show. Is that the? Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one when you go downstairs. With the red thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that place. Yeah. No, it was that. First of all, Switzerland's not as familiar with comedy as they are in the United States. So like I was starting I was assuming a lot as far as what people
you were assuming
knew.
they had a sense of humor, yeah.
Yeah, and then when they wouldn't get it, they also don't seem to appreciate rage very much, which is where that's where I exist. That's my space. And but I talk about this actually in America. I talk about doing comedy in Switzerland, where there was a show in Basel where I was bombing real hard, and I thought it was quiet, and I thought I was bombing, and so I was like, well, fuck all of you. Like I got real insecure, had my ego took over, and I was like, I'm fucking good at this, so I don't know, it's your fucking problem. And then I was like laying into him, and then this guy goes, but we're really enjoying you. That's when I learned that they just don't laugh. And so I had to like tell them, well, make a fucking, a sound, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a rhythm to this.
Try to show some emotion,
Yeah, I remember. Do you
up?
remember the acid bar? I don't know if you remember this, but it's this tiny little bar, which is weird because everybody bombs there. And I gotta say, I think maybe this was on your last tour.
On the prostitute street? On the red light
exactly.
street?
Yeah. Prostitute
That's where I
street.
live,
Yeah, exactly.
What about it? I remember that.
It was just, it was just like the crowd wasn't. It's a weird room. It doesn't feel quite right. And you figured out the crowd in like less than 60 seconds and spent 5 minutes beating them up. And it was fantastic. And that made them laugh. No one else got any laughs that night. I was impressed. I was like, okay, this is what we should aspire to.
Let me correct you. Do not aspire to this, because this the number one problem with me and comedy in my career is that I thrive in spaces where it's not supposed to happen. That's where I do really well. As long as you're doing well where it's supposed to happen, you'll be fine. That's where I die. Because you give me perfect lighting, a low ceiling, and a hot crowd, and they will leave remembering every bad thing that ever happened to them. You put me in a room that's too hot or too cold and angled weird, and it's all well lit, I'll fucking kill.
Brian's at the back of a brothel on a soapbox killing,
Yeah, exactly.
I know that venue quite well.
Me too.
Actually, I did some. I knew you, but then I actually, for the first time, I actually watched some of your videos on YouTube. You were on Kill Tony, and
many times.
Many times. Okay, I found one because, like, my deep research was Bill Burr, and it's fucking hilarious because it's just like I've watched too much Bill Burr, and when that bit where he leans back and folds his arms, and I'm just like, here we go. And I thought, I just decided to attack him. So what happened was I Kill Tony is a show, for those who aren't listening, that's like, it's cruel in just its premise is cruel. It's just taking people who haven't done comedy very long, making them do a minute in front of the best comics in the world, and then just trashing them. It's it's such a dumb premise. But I got a lot of gigs out of it because, when you do go up there and you have been doing comedy for a while, it's no problem to do a minute. So Bill Burr sniffed out the premise of Kill Tony super quick. Like 4 or 5 comics went up, and he's like, I'm not trashing this guy. He's like, he's been doing comedy for a minute. I'm supposed to trash him because it takes forever. It took me 10 years. And he started calling Tony a cunt for just having the show. He's like, Tony, you've been famous 2 minutes and you decide to be a cunt to open micers. And it had a real terrible vibe.
like the room, because everybody like.
Oh shit! Well, you were there that night where he laid into Tony, basically.
Yeah, that's the only time he ever did it. He never did it again.
Because I've seen the other clip where he's laying into him. I didn't realize that was.
Night.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah, so new comic after
night.
new comic after new comic, bombing, and Tony and Bill just being like, yeah, just keep at it. You'll get better. And just being a good guy.
Yeah,
and just totally like pulling the curtain off the show, and the vibe is terrible. So I go up and I have the first good set. I do a bit about accidentally bringing my knife into a courthouse, and when I get to the metal detector, I ran out to stash it in the bushes because I didn't want to walk all the way back to my car, and I was joking about all the weapons you see out in the bushes outside the Oakland, California courthouse, and it did really well. It was a minute, and it did really well. So Bill, he trashed me because I was the first one who like got any kind of laughs or whatever. And I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to get trashed by fucking Bill Burr. So I just start throwing him out information about my life that he can destroy. And like my life sounds made up anyway. Like I was in the army, I was a preschool teacher, I toured the world in punk bands, now I do stand-up comedy, and Bill Burr's like, and I'm an astronaut. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I just lean in and start talking shit back to him. But the funny thing is, the next night I'm at the Comedy Store where they record Kill Tony, and Tony Hinchcliffe finds me and he goes, Bill Burr wants to see you, and he brings me. It's so funny. This is one thing I hate, is like the hierarchy of, I don't know, like Los Angeles comedy, where it's like, it's like, all right, who gives a fuck, really? Yeah. But like,
so it's like, Bill Burr, he wants to see.
Yeah. He like, we're having a meeting, like it's the fucking Irishman. And so he brings me back to. By the way, before that, after the Kill Tony, David Letterman's booker was there because he has nothing to do because Letterman retired, and he's like, dude, I could have watched you for an hour. Do you have tapes or whatever? And I was like, maybe 4 years ago this could have helped, but he's not on fucking TV anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so I go to meet Bill Burr, and there's a semicircle of comics, Bill in the middle, and they get less famous as the semicircle goes out.
That is so funny.
You got little Dean Del Rey on the very end being like, hey guys, can I hang out? It's just grown men acting like children, like on a playground. It's just, I never really, that's another reason why I don't do well. I don't give a shit about who anybody is. But Bill was like, hey, I really appreciated you giving me shit. Like, I'm going to look out for you. What's your name? Bryan Vokey. He's like, Bryan Vokey, I got it. Say hello next time I see him. Next time you see me. And so next time I see him, I say hello. And he's like, huh? It was gone. It was gone. A minute after I took his hand. But the funniest thing was he complimented me, shook my hand, and they looked at me, and it's just how my grandfather was when he was like, all right, go play. He goes, okay. All right. Like, get the
you got your little tap on the back. Now move on. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I wonder if Bill Burr thinks like that will motivate him to be a great comedian. Like that little moment he had with me where I said something significant.
Yeah, I would love to think that he spent a second thinking about it, but I would assume he did.
Exactly. It kind of sounds like the comic circles never change. Like they go from open mics where it's just a bunch of dudes being assholes to each other to like backstage Comedy Store famous comedians just being old dudes fucking being stupid to each other.
Which is something that always strikes me. Like what you mentioned there about this hierarchy. There is this weird thing. Sometimes like a lot of comics, especially in Switzerland, haven't been at it for that long. Like the majority of us have been probably doing it since 2016. That's probably when our friends started, and it's just a very short period. And then when we see people that have been doing it for like a decade, you go like, oh, this is how it works. But it always comedy. But it always feels like, it's kind of like a level playing field. And then you start hearing these stories of, oh no, there's this whole scene in London, in LA, in New York, and this is how it works, and this is the person that you have to shake hands with. And you go like, yeah, but all you want to do is tell a dick joke. It's like everyone aspires to the same thing.
It's like going through the mafia, but instead of like dealing in sex workers or drugs, it's like you're just dealing dick jokes.
Exactly.
I've got some really good quality dick jokes here. You want to buy some?
Yeah. But I will say that I don't feel like Bill Burr, and often a lot of the people at the center of these things are just, they don't know who's who really. They're kind of out of it because they're on the road all the time and busy and working. So they don't really participate in it. It's the ones that are opening for these people who are viciously trying to hang on to their position that are
middle
always
management. Middle management. Middle management.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly. It's middle management. It's exactly what it is. Yeah,
But
those people are always the worst because they know they don't have it in them to be where the person they're opening for is, so they will just viciously protect the little bit of space they have.
That's so
and
funny.
instead of trying to focus on growing or whatever.
yeah, I wonder if that weirdly rings a bell. Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, just causing a little scandal.
I think that I participated in some shit talking. Unbeknownst.
No, but I mean, the thing is, and I think, I think, Brian, that maybe you're kind of in the same space, because I've always worked in software and computing, and it's a wonderful space because it's just like, can you program C or whatever it is? And it's like, yes, you get the job. There's none of this fucking, you don't have to kiss anyone's ass to get an IT job. And I've had that my whole life. And this idea that I need to now kiss people's asses, fuck that shit. I'd rather make my own comedy internet from scratch than do that shit. It's just like,
Yeah, but this is
I don't
this is
know
what
how much, in this era, I don't know how much ass there is to kiss, but you do have to. The one thing I've noticed that I've been in that I have no ability to do is to become a singular personality. And that's the way you make your money, you know?
okay.
Like you become a completely definable, one-dimensional character of yourself. Dave Chappelle is the thinker or whatever.
Bert Kreischer takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
So
What's that?
Bert Kreischer takes his shirt off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody has their one thing, and it's like I'm all over the place. I'm doing like a current event news podcast. I've got a sports podcast. It's just whatever I'm into that day is what I'm talking about. So there's no identifiable thing to chew. So it's not
that
like
is your thing though. ADHD. You can just attach onto that.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it hasn't worked yet, but we'll see.
That's pretty difficult to sell to an agent.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, I do many
I can't focus
things.
on anything. Give me a job.
Are you happy with a rainbow of things?
But you have actually done a bizarre amount of things, including being in the NSA. Like that's,
Yes.
I mean, and
Very
wait.
But I just got one question about the NSA. Christian wants a lot of questions. Did you see anyone's daughter getting undressed on webcam? Like, does that actually
And
happen?
can you forward it to Harry? Because this is what his real question is.
Like my daughter, for example, was she undressing on webcams? I need to know.
Well, you got to remember, I'm an old man. How old is your daughter? She's probably not even born.
Actually, let's not even go. She's 17, but yeah, back then thank God. No, because
no.
Go ahead.
Hey, listen, I deleted 9 jokes that I thought of right away.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Good guy after my run-in with a particular community.
Well, you're drinking turmeric tea now, so you only get to do the clean jokes.
Yeah, you're cleansing yourself out.
When I was working at are you wondering about the NSA?
Yeah. I'm heaps interested because, okay, so this is the thing. I know that you were in the army, and I find this fascinating because on this table, I'm the only one that was in the army too, but I was in the Swiss army. So this is basically Boy Scouts with guns. And
you guys just ride the fucking regular ass subways in uniform with guns.
Yeah, right?
But not like I'm on patrol, like I'm on my way to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's on your way home.
I shat
mostly.
myself when I saw that for the first time.
So, okay, Brian, I have to tell you this story because I find this absolutely fascinating. So I was in the army. I did what a good Swiss citizen has to do. Citizen.
I like that word. Swiss-ism.
I would travel on Saturday mornings. We would get out of the barracks at around 6 a.m. We would have a weekend off. You go home in full gear. You take your rifle home, all that sort of stuff.
Sorry,
Yes.
Christian, on the train, did you ever just like look at someone and just stare them down while like stroking your rifle? Just like, oh, we'll
I upped that. I did that whilst also holding a beer. Because this is what we used to do.
Switzerland.
A beer and a rifle?
Beer and rifle.
On a train.
So on the train. So we would run out of the barracks. We would go to the to the service station next to the train station. We would load up on booze, get on the train. The train would take us 2 hours. So we are like 4 cans deep by the time we arrive home. And this is like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. now, right? So we are hammered and we are all in full tactical gear. So it's a scary thing to behold. But so I have a friend, he's Irish. He has been living in Switzerland for a decade or so. And Saturday morning, he goes out and he's on a train, and that's a rarity for him because he's Irish. So Saturday mornings are usually to be in bed and hungover. So he basically sits on this train, and there is a soldier completely out of his mind, hands him the gun and goes, hold this for a moment, goes to the pisser, only to come back 2 minutes later, and he goes like, thank you very much, and grabs the gun again. And this guy comes from Northern Ireland, where guns are basically like,
IRA,
we don't want them anymore. Like, this is fucking dangerous shit. And he's holding this, and he said to me, like, I was holding it with 2 fingers because I was so scared of touching anything that could make it go off.
Yeah, that would be jail time.
Yeah.
In the US.
Yeah.
Straight to the brig. Yeah. I had a nerd job in the Army. I took the ASVAB, which is the entrance exam to get into the military to get out of class. They were like, if you take the military entrance exam, because it's voluntary, it's not, there's no draft or civil service.
There's no conscription,
Yeah, conscription. That's the fucking word.
There's only Swiss person said that.
So I took the test and went home. Like they were supposed to go back to class or whatever, I guess. And I just took the test and went home. And then turns out I got a very high score on it, and they started recruiting the shit out of me. And I wanted to go.
Did they send any of the guys in the nice uniforms with the golden buttons and the white gloves and stuff?
No. Those are the Marines. It was the Marines didn't want me. I think they don't care if you're smart.
They need cannon fodder.
I like the way you said the Marines didn't want me. It's like, sorry,
we didn't want each other. It's like you and me, Harry.
Okay, mutual.
I don't want you either.
So he's too psycho
gloves.
for the Marines.
So they're basically going after you.
Yeah. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had really bad grades, and I didn't get into any college I applied for. And so I joined up, but I went in to do Armed Forces Network, which is to like when you go overseas, there's literally TV stations that people so they can get the news and get entertainment and stuff. And and I wanted to do the production stuff of that. So I went to school, and then they reclassified me immediately to like spyware technology and all this. I don't even really know. I went in as an audio visual maintenance and operator, and I ended up reclassified, and I was operating and maintaining NSA's video teleconferences and, back then video teleconferences.
Do you still have a security level? Like
I lost that while I was in there. I was in a lot of trouble in the military. I was in a lot.
He was looking at Harry's daughter. They were like, get his password away from him.
So, can I ask you this? Is there a classification level called Q? Is that actually a thing, or is this a lie?
It is more than a lie. That is a it stops at TS/SCI, TS/SCI, top secret/secret compartment information. And that is what they call, like in a Bond film, eyes only, which means theoretically, if I have SCI clearance, Joe Biden could walk into the room and I'd be like, I'm sorry, you can't see this. You got to
Right.
Nice.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is a cabal of pedophiles that has a higher security clearance. I never met them.
But
I find it very hard to believe that the toothless
Bill
fucking
Moore
blotchy skin
fucking Vietnam vet.
No, something I don't, but
Yeah.
But there's probably some QAnon person actually listening to this in the future, and they'll just see that background and just be like, yeah, this is all purely bullshit, clearly. Like a guy with this background.
Brian's clearly communicating something, because if you attach the star on the right of his head with the shoulder, that gives you a letter.
That's clearly a lizard person talking right now.
Yeah. Cassiopeia is behind me. And everybody knows Cassiopeia is Greek for child penis.
Exactly. Joe Biden is a pedophile. This is what you're trying to get across to QAnon.
Oh, but we knew that for years.
Wait, what?
So, okay. So this bit you might have to humor me if it sucks. You did a Stephen Hawking's joke, and
That's two different ones. I don't know which one you're gonna play.
So the one can I?
Is it the Epstein one or is it my dumb friend Andrew?
The Epstein bit. I don't want you to burn material, but Stephen Hawking's is kind of old
people
news.
Listen to this.
Oh yeah, Stephen Hawking and Jeffrey Epstein coming up on my Netflix special. Yeah.
So the bit, as I remember it, and I may be getting it wrong, was simply like, so did you hear Hawkins was on Epstein's island? And, like, say what you want about Epstein.
I love when people recount it when they start with, yeah. Yeah, so like everybody does like an 80s or something. They're like, yeah, so you hear Hawkins.
I don't know, how do you start someone else's bit?
I cannot.
Jay Leno. Yeah, so you hear Hawkins.
Wait, the next
Please,
attempt
keep doing my joke.
the next attempt of Harry is going to be Stephen Hawking couldn't get any respect.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so the joke was, say what you want about Epstein, but at least he had wheelchair access. Is that the joke?
Yeah, you really figured out how to suck all the humor out of it.
Thank you.
Harry's good at that.
All right, do you want to correct the record?
That line, all that line is, I said, who used to be a guest at Pedophile Island, and I said Stephen Hawking. So say what you will about Pedophile Island, at least it was wheelchair accessible.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a good joke.
That was quality joke right there. So, but you
said we were going to talk about Stephen Hawking. I got a little nervous because that joke's more about how they found a construction worker to build ramps on a pedophile island. I don't really know anything about Stephen Hawking.
Well, of course, all of us have read A Brief History of Time, and no. What happened was, I was thinking about, okay, so I think it's maybe only me, possibly, no, trying to prepare this podcast, and like, what are we going to talk to Bryan about, and do we need a structure, and then I thought Stephen Hawking's, and then I just came back, like I remembered that joke, and so I googled it, like Stephen Hawking's love life, and I ran into the most amazing piece of journalism on the New York Post. Do you even know what I'm talking about? I think
the fact that he was cheating on his wife with his assistant, with his in-house healthcare worker.
So if you'll humor me, guys, like I'm going to try and read it, and if this starts to suck, then we'll just stop. But I'll try and go fast. So the title of this article was Inside Wheelchair-Bound Lothario, Stephen Hawking's Improbable Steamy Love Life. So it goes, he may have been bound to a wheelchair. Christian's like holding his head already. He's having. He may have been bound to a wheelchair and unable to speak, but Stephen Hawking had an incredibly complicated and complex love life. What the fuck is this? That involved affairs and allegations of cheating and abuse. Hawking was first married to Jane Wilder in the 1960s when a couple of were both in their early 20s. And when he first started exhibiting signs of ALS, but their sex life was wanting. So even before he had the whole issues, he was already not a lover. Hawking's condition meant that he'd been a completely passive sex partner as well as a fragile one. Over time, his fragility caused Jane to worry that sexual activity might kill him.
Were you able to relate to that in any shape or form when you read this?
That sounds shockingly like we're reading about Harry.
Yes.
Well, just wait a second. Making love to him became a frightening and empty experience. Even the thought of him felt unnatural, and her desire for him faded. He had the needs of an infant and the body of a Holocaust victim.
This is a journalist?
This is in the fucking article.
Journalist is debatable. It's the New York Post.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that still makes sense. But man, times have changed. Even the New York Post.
They threw. Okay. So
he sounds like he's beating off. Well, he's right.
yeah, exactly a Holocaust.
Viciously.
Yeah.
He preempted the whole TikTok Holocaust porn here. Was basically.
Fuck me.
I don't think if anyone on TikTok's combined it with Stephen Hawking's though, but
there's where you break.
So
he needs it.
That's my niche. Over time, she'd lose her own identity, with it her self-worth. Who am I? She'd wonder. The two remained married until 1985, when, after a tracheotomy, Hawking fell for his nurse, Elaine Watson, a fiery redhead who liked to skateboard and definitely knew how to flirt. This is in the article. Elaine wasn't put off by Stephen's physical condition, just the opposite. She was drawn to it. At the time of the affair, both Hawking and Mason were still married. Now, this is going to come to an amazing bit. He was married to Jane. She was married to David, an engineer and self-confessed Hawkins superfan who helped develop Hawkins' speech synthesizer.
Wait.
Which is used with his tongue.
Exactly. Stephen Hawkins.
That's first excuse. He was eating her pussy and she came in. She's like, I'm helping him with his speech thing.
He fucking cuckolded an engineer into making his voice that he seduced the guy's wife with. What the fuck?
He spent months developing a voice that he'll use to whisper into his wife's ear, basically.
No.
Do you want to suck it?
Honey, say you're married again.
Dude, Dana Gould had the best joke about that, where he was talking about the most amazing fact about Stephen Hawking is that he cheated on his wife. And so he was like doing an impression where he's like, so yeah, the theory of relativity and information dies within a black hole. Oh, guys, 4 o'clock. He did it on a Conan a long time ago.
Can you imagine like a woman on a first date with Stephen Hawkins? And then at some point he's like, I need to go to the toilet now. And he trundles off. And then there's this like, please help me. Like,
I mean, also that article makes his first wife sound like such a fucking jerk, where it's like, yeah, he had ALS. Like you're describing having sex with him as the most haunting experience of your life. You're like, well, you know what might be a little more haunting? Having ALS. Dummy.
Having ALS with an erection. It's not fun.
All right.
He's a mind trapped in a dead body. You want to talk about haunting?
I remember how they tried to explain this in the movie, because usually people that are in a wheelchair, sexual organs don't necessarily work the same way anymore. If you cut your back, right? Yeah. So in the movie they tried to explain it that he can still get a hard on, and everyone was like super surprised that he did, and then the camera pans to Stephen Hawking with like this massive smile. It's like, oh yeah.
So his cock was still working to
fuck yeah. Yeah.
God damn.
According to the movie.
Unrelatable, I guess.
It was probably a clause written in the movie. He's like, I'm not selling you the rights to my story.
Unless, you
tell everybody I get a hard on.
Massive hawk.
This is why the nurses love me.
All right. Should I continue?
Yeah, go.
Please.
All right. So Elaine,
quitting from your fucking journal.
Yeah, exactly. Elaine, I've got it like with extra font size because age is starting to fuck my eyes. Elaine quit being his nurse to become his wife in 1995, but would still...
this is like a promotion? It's like, you go from nurse to wife. Like,
exactly.
So the SpongeBob stop at some point. Yeah.
But she would still cook for him and prepare his favorite foods like curries and roast dinners.
Definitely an Englishman, that guy.
Can you imagine British thing I've ever heard in my life?
Feeding Stephen Hawkins a curry or a roast dinner. That's like...
and then follow that with a bunch of pints.
Yeah, exactly. A pint and a curry. Elaine loved to hold his hand, and even though they couldn't sleep in the same bed, she would come down in the night just to look at him and touch him. Elaine said, I came from a dysfunctional family. My parents didn't look after us very much. So the feeling of being loved was special. And I was in love with Stephen and he was in love with me. He accepted and loved me for who I am inside.
Also, the prizes you won came with a cash bonus.
But in 2000...
Also, his talking machine didn't have the words dumb bitch or anything like that. He never really expressed himself.
There was no shut ups or...
It doesn't have the
There's
same...
no, don't touch me, please.
It's like the delay kind of ruins the effect. Like, bitch, suck my dick. It takes the whole edge out of it.
She just wanted somebody who couldn't get away from her.
Right.
She had abandonment issues. Yeah.
Massively so.
Yeah, try run, bitch.
So in the year 2000, police investigated claims that Elaine had slammed Hawkins' wrist on his wheelchair, refused to let him use his urine bottle, so he wet himself, let him slip beneath the water while in a bath, causing water to enter the tracheotomy site in his throat, and left him alone in the backyard on the hottest day of the year, causing him to suffer a heat stroke and severe sunburn. The allegations were strongly denied by Hawkins, and the police concluded after their investigation without charge. One moment it was, you're crazy, I hate you, I never want to see you again. And next it was, I love you more than anything and could never live without you.
I'll say this in her defense, though. When you are taking care of somebody who needs 100% care at all times, 24/7, 365, it's going to be pretty quick when you start racking up horrible sounding things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get a phone call while he's in the bath. He has to bathe every day. You're telling me, and like, you're moving him in and out of the wheelchair. His wrist isn't going to get banged around every now and then. Like, shit's going to happen.
Did any of you ever worked as a carer?
I have experienced that with my ex-girlfriends.
I don't believe it.
You've experienced that with your ex-girlfriends. What?
No, my ex-girlfriend's brother, he was
he was in a wheelchair.
quadriplegic. Yeah. You have to move him around a bunch. He can't go and get in his bed, get out of bed. But the weirdest thing is, once, no names obviously, but once you put him into bed, as soon as he's lying down, the blood starts flowing. Things happen. It still worked as well.
Really?
And he would tell me, "Don't worry, it's not you, it's me." And he's sitting there with a tent in his bed.
Can you come? Like, because like come is like a
he recently had a child.
A quadriplegic?
He gave birth?
Fucking hell.
Not him. I
Is
mean,
the baby paralyzed?
no.
Yeah, that's how that works.
That's how stupid he thinks I am. He goes, no.
No, come on, Brian. You can do better.
He was not paralyzed, but he was black.
You just beat me to it. Oh, yes.
It looks just like you. No.
That's a weird thing, Zach, because my son is 15 and he's getting to that point now where he's actually starting to be physically stronger than me. So like I can't smack him around the head anymore.
Not hard.
And yeah, not hard. And
do one push up.
What was the quote again? A Holocaust victim?
But the thing is like that's a point of like, and it's a point that I've known was coming and I've somehow accepted that I have to like put up with this bullshit at some point. But if you're paraplegic and you're like your 2-year-old can beat the shit out of you, basically.
The first thing you think of as being a quadriplegic father is that you can't beat your child.
Exactly. The kid's got a wooden hammer. It's like smacking you on the head.
This weird black baby's beating his dad.
I like the idea though about like how the conversations go, as you just said before, Brian. Like you work with someone that's under constant need of your attention. At some point, you just derail a little bit in your conversations, and then it just gets gradually worse. It must happen. I used to work for a guy who lost his feet due to what's the sugar thing? Diabetes. So it wasn't something cool like a landmine. It was just a fat fuck that So this guy.
Do you see Brian like processing all the shit that cannot be said in America? Like fat fuck.
Brian's like, I've offended one community. Here comes another 3.
Well, I'm also just thinking, like, you live in a much healthier country, so like fat fuck is still, it's illegal to say fat fuck now in the United States because we're all fat. So it's like,
define fat fuck.
No, I don't care about fat people who can come for me. I'm one of them. So
don't hate on yourself because you hate.
Yeah, according to my doctor, I'm obese as well. So
that gives him the right to say this joke.
This is the liberty that I have now. BMI over 30. So this guy, I would go shopping with him, and he always wanted to go to the supermarket with the most narrow shelves. So it's in Switzerland, there's these two types of supermarkets. You have come across this, Brian. There's the Migros and the Co-op, right? So Co-ops are built in a way that they are very, very wheelchair friendly. And Migros usually suck. It's way too tight. You cannot go through the aisles. He always wanted to go to that fucking place. And I had an argument with him in public where I was like, I'm not going there with you. I cannot drive you through that fucking supermarket. He's like, you just have to make it happen somehow. And we had a full-blown argument about which supermarket to go to. It's like, but they don't have the cheese that I want. It's like, for fuck's sake.
There's that joke though, like Swiss men are more loyal to their supermarkets than they are their wives.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Well, also it's like, give me a fucking shopping list and wait here.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to come.
Get it.
Yeah.
He's there for the free samples.
So
this is a cheap fuck.
There's a little bit of this story left. Shall I wrap it up?
Yeah, wrap it.
Please.
All right. So the nurse, that couple, they divorced in 2006 after Hawken fell for another nurse, Diana King, who was 39 years younger than the physicist and suffered from manic depression, something Hawkins seemed to like. He was attracted.
Sounds so dark.
He was attracted.
Life with black holes.
Exactly. The whole physics was just a metaphor for a brief history of time. She was 39 years older, like younger.
I like an eclipsing star.
Yeah. So was he attracted to troubled women? Diana was intelligent and well-read, nice to chat with, but that was when she was on her meds. This is again in the article. Physical desire was what drove their connection, or could it have been something deeper, a connection between two souls? Diana said, Hawken had the most expressive face in the world. I could tell what he was thinking by the way his mouth twitched.
Yeah. Sure you could. Sure you could. That's like saying like a blank page is the most expressive blank page because you can draw whatever you fucking want on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that means that he thinks I'm smart.
But I think
oh
like,
my God, she wanted a teddy bear. That's all she wanted. She just wanted something.
But if Stephen Hawkins can pull this shit off, like these fucking incels and all that shit, it's just like if Stephen Hawkins can do it.
Well, he sold 9 million copies of a book. Okay, like
he just
that transcends ALS any day of the week.
Yeah, exactly. You've nailed it. Just write a book about some black holes, and then you're done. Like.
Yeah. That's your you're a therapist, and Incel comes in to see you, and you go, write a New York Times bestseller. Work for Stephen Hawking.
Exactly. Just call it my theory of black holes.
So wait, Harry. Literally, what you're telling all the incels is go home, start writing.
Exactly.
Do you know what happens when incels do that? You should go to Norway. And Tom,
they write manifestos. Go home. Write.
It's not gonna be a book. It's gonna be a manifesto.
Yeah, but do you know how many people want to fuck Anders Breivik now? There's a whole sure. There's a bunch of women that want to fuck that dude.
I mean, I just watched the Night Stalker documentary, and he got married after he got convicted for 5,000 rapes and murders.
Which guy? The
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker in LA.
Oh yeah, on Netflix.
But there is this huge market for people that write in, pen pal ships on death row. So I was married once in my life, and
basically death row.
So you were on
that's
death row.
my version of death row. My ex-wife was pen pal.
Old men. All of to get
All
your shot.
three
Yeah,
of
that's fucking death row execution right there.
You know the old ball and chain. So my ex-wife was actually pen pal with a dude on death row.
No way.
Yeah,
She's into bad boys, just like you, Christian.
Yeah. This is why our marriage got dissolved.
Wait, while you were married, she was talking to a murderer?
Yeah. We both went to San Quentin
Is this a
Why?
to meet the guy.
This is a thruple.
Cucked by a guy on death row?
Yes. That's exactly. And here comes the best part. I had to wait in the parking lot.
No.
Yes,
What do they,
yes.
Brian? What do they call those rooms like with married couples? Conjugal visit? It was one of those.
No, it wasn't a conjugal visit.
That's
You're
what
not
they
allowed
said.
to consummate visit if you're not married to the
And,
person. Like that's why people get married.
And I think on death row it's pretty complicated. Anyhow, I think what she told me was,
I would imagine you're not going to
Yes.
let the
my
fucking hillside
God.
strangler alone with a woman. Just 'cause they're married.
I'm sure you've heard of him, Manson. You've heard of that Manson guy?
oh yeah.
My ex-wife loved him.
Well, so did a lot of women.
hell.
So, but this is what happened, right? So we're driving up to St. Quentin State Prison,
funny.
and I put in the sat nav. I put in St. Quentin State Prison as an address, and we get directed to the delivery entrance, which is on the other side of the peninsula.
And he's there waiting in a basket for you?
Get this. So there's like security guards waiting there, and we drive up, and they go like, "Okay, who the fuck are you?"
The escape
and
entrance.
we both hold up our Swiss passports. It's like we want to visit a dude, and they go like, "You know where you are, right?" It's like, yeah. Okay. You have to drive around and then go to the entrance. And without failing, we drive up. We were the only white people in that crowd. 100%. It was the most. They looked at us more from the fact. But the whiteys, what the fuck? Like, why are you
Liberal
here?
California, they love to lock up the minorities.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, Texas is racist. Meanwhile, our prison.
No, go to California and you go like,
Black.
whoa, dude,
Yeah.
this is dark. It's like, this is really bad. Oh, man.
Wait, okay, I need to know more about this. Did she start writing to him from Switzerland, or were you living in the States?
So there is an organization that's based in the States that basically pimps out pen pals to people on death row. And it's
Tinder?
yeah, it's basically death row Tinder.
That's funny.
So what happens is they see themselves as like what's that, like a social institute, like whatever they want to. It's mental health oriented. They basically go like,
I do, like a social justice. type
yeah.
thing.
So they basically go like, we don't care actually if these people have done the things that they're accused
Sure.
of. It's more about like, okay, but we have to keep these people sane somehow. And the whole pen pal ship is an outlet.
What better way?
Well, late on that one, society.
Yeah. So let's just pimp out a couple of Swiss women to talk to a mass murderer.
Yeah. Is there an app for this, dude? Like,
It's not an app. It's a
Gen
do
Y
you know what I
wants
would
an
call
app.
it? Do you know what I would call it?
Go.
The Last Blowy.
Is that a play on something? I'm
It's
out
like
of the loop here.
The Last Blowjob, I guess.
The last blowy.
Yeah, it's really funny now. Thanks, Brian. You fucking porcelain American.
Come on, we got internet. Brian's in outer space.
Yeah, Earth to Brian.
So, but they were in this. She was part of this group, kind of like anti killing people.
She's an abolitionist.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Let's not get people killed. And then she started writing with this dude, and that was kind of random allocated.
She walks out the prison. She's like, no, death sentence. It's a good thing. Keep it in there.
But did you ever read any of the letters?
Oh yeah. She shared them with me. Yeah, it was quite fascinating. The guy was, he has a lot of time, so he wrote really long letters.
One of those.
Was he getting romantic with her?
No, it was more. It had a fatherly element at one point. where he was like really concerned about her well-being, but
Sexual.
I guess so. but it was more like.
Was it Scott Peterson? Tell me it was Scott Peterson.
No, it wasn't Scott Peterson.
What was his name actually?
I can't remember. It's a guy that actually got in Illinois. It's really weird that he ended up in California.
Is he dead?
Yeah, I mean, when you get into the federal prison system, it doesn't matter where. Yeah. When you're in Superman.
Oh yeah, true. They just ship you wherever.
It just depends on the shade of skin color you have.
He was the only white person on death row at the time.
Oh, see, maybe it was Scott Peterson then. What year was this?
2012.
Dude, so do you guys know who Scott Peterson is?
No.
He's the guy who allegedly murdered his pregnant wife on a canoe, although he wasn't picked up in Illinois, it was in California. He's on death row in San Quentin. But the reason why I'm interested in this is because him and a bunch of other death row inmates got busted collecting pandemic unemployment.
Fuck yeah.
By stealing people's social security number. And I got my unemployment canceled because it was tied to fraud, because apparently I was tied up in that death row. Like, I think somebody got my social security number. Yes, somebody tried to file a claim with my social security number, and I'm convinced it was Scott Peterson because he's
that is so funny.
Who's on death row?
So you two are actually connected by one mass murderer. That's a beautiful.
Yeah.
No, so I don't think it. No, it wasn't Scott Peterson for sure.
Did she leave you for him?
Sorry,
not Scott. But did she leave you for the prisoner?
No. She's now with
a best laugh.
Wait. She's now with a cop.
Ew. That's even worse. I think I prefer the murderer. I'm not gonna lie.
All over the place, dude.
Shit, dude.
Yeah. She's now married to a cop.
Which side of the law does she want? Make a fucking decision. You know.
Is there the death penalty in Switzerland?
No.
You know what's funny? Is
but you can volunteer to die. That's you get voluntary death.
But hold up, Christian and your ex-wife, you're writing to the only white person on death row from Switzerland.
He said it was randomly allocated.
Randomly allocated.
Sure.
The only whitey.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just hearing these letters of like, I can't wait till you come and visit me, wearing a red dress and no panties. Like, are you sure that wasn't going on?
This is Harry's pen pal.
So how was the rest of your visit to the Bay?
It was lovely. So this is how much of a culture shock experience we had. So we were traveling in California for a couple of weeks. We went to San Quentin, and right after that, we drove up to Napa Valley. For a glass of wine. It's like, let's
Lecter experience.
Let's go and contrast that shit.
Oh my God. What's your last meal on death row, if you were a Christian?
We had this.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Right? Let's ask Brian. Brian, you're on death row. What's your last meal?
Rotisserie chicken, jalapeno poppers, plain cheesecake.
You've thought about this before.
Damn, you rolled it out.
I prepared. It's a prison thing.
Yeah. I want the rotisserie chicken and cheesecake because I love it. The jalapeno poppers because I would want to shit myself. Hopefully,
yes,
as bad as possible.
Yeah,
I would die just for a little last.
I had mine is a similar thing. It's mostly about giving grief to the guys that have to prepare it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the guys that have to clean me up.
I want an Arctic owl souffle.
I want a rare red panda. Something extinct.
I want a unicorn sirloin. Fried over elf dust.
I'll have a souffle dodo bird. Thank you very much.
Breaded white tiger. Wild caught.
No, that's a bit easy in America.
What fascinated me is there's a whole letter that you get before you go to these places of what you're supposed to wear. And one of the things they tell you not to wear is blue.
Of course.
Because that's one of the inmate colors.
Oh, Crips and Bloods.
So we are prepared, right? So we are Turbo Swiss. We go through the list, whatever you're supposed to do. I'm wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt as soon as we rock up. And I got so paranoid that I got changed in the car on the parking lot, which the guy with the fucking machine gun up there must have looked at this and said, what the fuck is this cunt doing?
All of a sudden there's two white people in the prison.
But Brian,
painted a red.
Here's a question. Like, everything I know about the U.S. prison system sounds fucking terrifying. How do you not live in a permanent state of anxiety in the U.S.? Like, because if you end up,
it's called Xanax.
you do.
Yeah. No, there's always a horse's hoof on my chest and a fire in my stomach. Yeah, all the time. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the American prison system.
It's because you got death threats the other day.
Or your cousin got into a potential rape.
It might be safer in prison for you, Brian.
Yeah, very well.
3 square meals a day, buddy.
I do feel that way. Your meals are, it takes away the pressure of ambition. You do get the 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
You get
and you can get ripped.
But have they got turmeric tea? That's all I need to know.
Yeah, dude. I thought you said raped, but ripped. Yeah.
No,
sure.
ripped.
Ripped and raped.
Yeah.
What kind of face tattoo would you go for if you end up in prison?
Oh,
that's a great question. You know what I think I would do is I would try to get like some kind of magic eye type thing where if you stare at it long enough, you can see a unicorn, but it just looks like splatter.
Because your skin is so amazing right now. It's just like perfect.
We're
for
back.
tattoo.
We're back.
Harry, I feel like you're going to wear me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Harry has been reading books about grooming.
Yeah. This is why Harry would land up in prison.
I love the concept of just tattooing a tear. Like these things, like
you know what it means, right?
Yeah. They killed the dude, right?
Wow, Christian's like, wait. This is the most Swiss response I've ever heard. They killed the guy, right? Sorry, dude.
It's fair enough. That sounded super wanky.
But okay, different question. Let's change topic. I recently ran in. You've heard of fear of missing out? You've heard this term, FOMO. Yeah. Apparently, there's another word called JOMO. Is the joy of missing out.
Oh, I relate to that.
Exactly. And I've been watching your Instagram transformation and seeing your beautifully clear skin and no bags under the eyes. Like, are you having, like, what joys of missing out have you had recently?
I have not missed a single thing about my social life except for actually being on stage and performing.
Yeah. Yeah. We get that.
Every other aspect, airports, the traveling, the conversations, the trying to be nice to psychotic other comedians.
Like us. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Wannabe, psychotic wannabe comedians. Like,
yeah, you call yourself a comedian?
It's the worst.
No, you guys don't have that devil ambition that makes people just fucking insane to look at when you look into their hollow eyes. But
Brian just said we have no ambition. Thanks, Brian.
I've always found
devil ambition.
Devil, but the people least likely to get anything they want are those with devil ambition, because it's just like
unless they're involved in normal capitalism.
I mean,
yeah, because I read a book about I forget what the book was called. It was by John Ronson, and the book was like breaking down how like a majority of CEOs are classifiably sociopaths.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, I think you do succeed. I think you're wrong. I think if you're a evil sociopath, then the world really unfolds
doing
for
pretty
you.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe my view of celebrity is wrong. But the thing is, like psychopaths know how to exploit hierarchies. That's how they get up the top. But to be a genuine, like Bill Burr may be a psychopath. I don't know, but he's got something that resonates with normal people, or he wouldn't be that successful. So and
sure.
Like
you know who else resonated with regular people a lot was Bill Cosby.
All right, fuck my whole theory.
Dead in the water.
Okay, wait.
I was just about to go on saying comedians have a lot of empathy for people, so it's different to the normal situation.
But
let's talk to Chris D'Elia for a second.
Give him a call.
Let's go there. What imaginary crime has Bill Burr committed? We're gonna find out about in 20 years.
He's without a doubt punched somebody. A woman, probably.
Well, that would be a Boston thing. He definitely has punched somebody.
A woman.
Yeah, but that's cultural. That's like you can't get mad at somebody.
Yeah, true. I'll tell that to the community you offended. Brian.
I'll tell you this right now, though. I do think that he has never done. Is everything all right? You guys haven't.
I touched Dean in a.
I don't like being touched by. Sorry, I don't like being touched by Harry.
But I saw you wanted to make a point. Go ahead.
No, I was just
That was awkward.
I know it was. We had an awkward moment.
This is what podcasting is. Organic conversation. It's all the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, you can grow, just okay.
Wow.
You guys want to hash this out real quick?
Wow. No, we good.
I think we're good.
We'll
Smooch
we'll
or
fight each other later.
Yeah,
Why is Harry blushing right now? What is happening?
Because I'm.
What happened to your videos with Ahmet? They were pouring for a minute there. I don't see him as much anymore.
Oh, it's just called depression and lockdown, I suppose.
Well, that was a fun answer.
Yeah. Truth hurts.
too real.
Too real? Too soon? Sorry, too soon? Sorry, guys.
Well, I was enjoying them.
Yeah. Okay. Which one? Why are we talking about this? Sorry, you were making a point. Then I interrupted, and then Harry touched me, and then he got a bit hard, and I got a little bit softer.
Flustered.
And then, it was a whole weird, awkward moment there, which we all shared, and now I don't know what
you
to say.
helped
I
us
feel weird.
relive the whole experience.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm
we're
depressed
back to
and
the
lockdown.
Bill Burr potential crime.
There we go. Don't
Yeah,
touch
I don't
me.
think he's committed one. I think he's one of the rare, actually good guys.
Yeah.
I
That's
agree.
true.
I'm not saying that for any reason. He doesn't know my name from anybody else's on earth.
Bill Burr, I
And
know
prove
you're
it to
listening.
my face.
No, yeah,
So-
I can't. I'm with you. That's what we thought about Cosby too, and
Fucking
Oh,
hell.
God.
like he had a whole world fooled. He was like the world's dad, America's dad. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's not cause. let's not cause a.
Brian-
He's on Instagram still and on
What?
Twitter.
What?
And Cosby's got an Instagram and a Twitter still.
What does he share?
He's of course, because he's trying to curry some favor, he like highlights like black artists and all this stuff, which has got to be the worst
Are
shout
they
out you
of
could ever-
age? Like, are they old enough to be shouted out? I don't know.
No, it's like young. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, it's all dudes. I don't think he.
Oh my God.
I think he's got the wrong strategy there. He should be highlighting white male comedians. He should go the opposite way now. Just flip the other way, and like get this following of like white nationalists to get Bill out of prison.
Well, I think what happens with these dudes is that these dudes who reject their like blackness to get famous, like O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby, kind of. As soon as they get in trouble, they're like, my people will never. All of a sudden, they're like wearing a black.
Oh
glove
yeah.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're all hood again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think Chris
That's-
Tucker had that joke where he's at a party with OJ and he's like, let's get a picture. He's like, no, I'm good. Thanks, OJ. I'm good. You do you. I saw what happens to your career.
But Bill Cosby, I mean, could you imagine if you're like a young comedian, and he's like, I was watching this video, shout out to like Mike Epps or whatever, keep being funny. It's like the worst thing I could
That
happen
must
to
be
you.
horrific.
But it is a great opportunity to get into like a pen pal situation with.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Bill,
don't recommend to bring that into your household.
I'm getting straight onto Bill Cosby here. I'm going to ask to marry him in the next. Okay, whatever.
Follow him on Instagram. Shout out to Bill Cosby.
Shout out to Bill Cosby.
Cosby.
I know you're listening.
Whilst we're there, shout out to Harvey Weinstein. We really need a good
we haven't
producer in
done-
this country.
We've done Epstein and Cosby. We haven't done Weinstein yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like the trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta of evil of the last 5 years.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, weirdly with Weinstein is he's like there was a court case. He got
Tell us what is weird with Weinstein.
no. It's
Go
just like,
on.
It's just like it's kind of like Weinstein is the one where it's like it's done. Like it's like he's in prison. We're done with Weinstein. Epstein is like the ongoing story, and Ghislaine or
Yeah, because he got killed.
Conspiracy attached to it.
Oh, here we go.
Weinstein's
So
easy.
what does the what do you know? No, well, you were way past army at that point.
It happened way after. No,
your NSA contacts.
yeah, he was. He was for sure murdered, right? I mean, there's no way he was.
Oh, 100%. Like, how many people did Hillary get killed?
I don't know. We were talking about this on the Clinton body count. On I was doing a podcast. We were talking about that. It's so funny because my co-host Ramsey Badawi on the Worst Hour podcast, he was like, "Listen, if one thing that's guaranteed to everybody is that you're gonna die, and so if you've ever worked for the Clintons, You are still going to die. And then you immediately get put into the Clinton body count, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's funny.
We're talking about this private eye from San Francisco, Jack Palladino. He was hired in 91 to shut up all of Bill Clinton's mistresses and stuff while he was trying to get the nomination to run for president. And just like last week, he was killed in a robbery. And, people are immediately like, oh, Clinton body count. And you're like, he was 76. He fell and hit his head.
I immediately fell for it. I was like, oh, tell me more, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. He had a camera. He always had a big, expensive camera because he was an old private eye. I guess he didn't know about iPhones or whatever. But he would be like taking pictures with his camera. And two people came out to rob him, grabbed his camera. He fought him, managed to snap pictures of them while they were robbing him. And when he fell down, he went unconscious. And then they skedaddled, and then they developed his film and found pictures and arrested people.
They found the pictures of the robbers and then like a bunch of Bill Cosby's and Bill Clinton's fucking mistresses. And it's all undeveloped film.
Just Bill and Hillary themselves.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by the.
It's their just like private porn collection that he was hired to film and shoot. Yeah. Oh no.
Bill Cosby's face coming at you.
Just in the background.
I'm fascinated by the Clinton body count. The one thing that I cannot wrap my head around is why Monica is still walking. It's
too public.
That's what it is, right? So too much of an exposure. I mean, they let her have a TEDx talk, and I say that.
The reason why Alexei Navalny is still alive.
Yes.
They tried to poison him. He survived. Now you can't kill him.
No. Even if you put him in the dangerous Russian prison.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he can die in a prison incident. But Putin is interesting to me as a dictator because he does care about public opinion a little bit more than, your Kim Jong-uns and your...
Did you see when he did this thing with his pop singers?
Which one?
So Putin had one of his election campaigns. He had a Russian all-girl pop band sing a song about how great Putin was.
Pussy something.
No.
Right.
This is Pussy Riot.
Yeah.
They're not singing nothing
for Vladimir Putin. I promise you, that would be a hell of a turn. That would be like a WWF level heel turn.
That's what we call a 180. In the business.
That's like Hulk Hogan joining NWO.
You got to get the click somehow.
No, but you wanted to. The band that you had in your brain were the two lesbians.
Okay, yeah.
Tattoo.
I thought there was three lesbians.
No, it was two, and it wasn't them.
Well, in his head, it's three. You said it was in his head.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to ruin your fantasy.
Three lesbians in my head right now.
The only reason I watched their protest,
right? Because they're hot, but they'd hate you, which is
that's
the double whammy for you.
Combination,
this is exactly what turns Harry on. She's hot and hates me. I love it.
You're into a little bit of hate fucking.
I give her my pirate, and then nothing happens.
And then you for a second wish that you were Irish and it was sincere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw Putin. I saw a video where it exposed that, if you fuck Putin, you get an empire. Like all of his mistresses, he was fucking some gymnast, and now she's the head of the largest cable network and all of that. Yeah.
Have a baby, be a millionaire.
He's doing a little bit better than Berlusconi, because Berlusconi tried to get some of his affairs into Parliament, which is one of the most hilarious things that probably ever happened.
Is that
you can't be in Parliament if you're 16?
Wait. Can you imagine? Because he doesn't need to do that for these women. He can just have them vanished or whatever.
Maybe he has a heart.
All of these women must be profoundly loyal to him.
I was going this way. I was saying, it's like, how good is your blowjob that you can have a whole network, TV network?
Oh, good.
Or he's got a weird thing where he cries or something. Maybe he likes to be scolded and cried and have his nuts stepped on or something. And so maybe he's, I'll give you the world if you keep your fucking mouth shut.
So he totally actually relates to Trump. So the piss video was more like, sorry, bro, I know I'm into the same sort of thing.
Yeah. All those powerful guys look at me. I know, because I was a powerful man myself.
Oh, fucking hell. Did this thing made headlines in the US about his palace?
Not really. It did to me because I pay attention to that kind of stuff.
All right. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that $1.2 billion palace that has its own army.
Did you catch this, boys?
No.
So Putin, Navalny actually came out with this. Putin has apparently a palace built on the Black Sea. It's beautiful. It's absolutely astonishing. It's like in this little
Funded
forest.
entirely by bribes, by political bribes.
100% bribe money. $1.2 billion.
That's crazy.
I had a crazy
Got a strip club in it. That was one of the things they were saying. It's got a strip club in it. It's like,
of course it does.
Yeah, $1.2 billion. That's not very impressive.
That should get you a strip club. Like, do you remember Richie Rich? He must have like a McDonald's in there as well. Like, Jesus, come on.
I always imagine Putin doing stuff like in this mansion having a circus, and there's always a bear on like a little bicycle. Like, this is where I go.
Yeah, and he has like too many shots, and he wrestles the bear.
Yeah, takes his shirt off, and then.
But Brian,
one of his security guards neutralizes the bear with a fucking dart, and then lets Putin think that he submitted.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And he does it topless for the photo op.
And Donald
100%.
Trump's sitting in the corner just jacking off. Oh.
okay, dudes, I'm getting nervous now. I think you're going to get us killed here, the four of us. But I had a weird story about Putin. Actually, is it like you get the Super Bowl, you get a ring, like if you win the Super? So the story was some dude that had been on a winning Super Bowl team got invited at a sporting event to see Putin. Putin was there, and then Putin asked to see his ring, and then just walked off with it.
He took it.
He took the fucking ring.
That's amazing.
How do you
And
say
the guy-
no to that?
The guy couldn't.
Excuse me, Mr. Russian Putin man.
There's a bunch of Russian
Fucking-
security guards surrounded by American
Dude.
security guards. Like,
Ace Ventura 3.
yeah.
Go back and get that Super Bowl ring. Because
It's just
remember
like,
in Ace
I'm
Ventura
taking
1,
this.
that's how he finds Lois Einhorn. It's through the Super Bowl ring. You guys not watch cinema?
No. Oh my god.
That's so funny. That is so funny. But so these, do you know how big these rings are? Have you seen one of them?
No.
They're
Yeah,
huge.
they're pretty big, yeah.
The one that got made for the Lakers for their last title. It is supposed to have the most gems ever put in one of those champion rings. It's not a ring for a human. It's like if I would wear this, it would go around my whole hand.
Yeah.
It's like this massive clunker. Like
It's a knuckle duster.
yeah. Yes, it is a knuckle duster. Thank you, East London. Well done.
That's that's the go-to weapon of London. But that's like this Adam Sandler movie. What's that movie where
Uncut Gems,
Uncut Gems?
I think.
Yeah, so good.
And
Yeah, that's in a man living in a constant state of anxiety. Maybe also because of the prison complex. I'm not sure.
A little bit off topic because I heard this crazy story about the Russian oligarchs, the Sausage King. I don't know if you heard this one, where he was sitting in a sauna with his partner, and somebody came in and just shot a crossbow through the Sausage King heart or something. Just shot him with a crossbow and left. Committed murder, killed him. Because he's a Russian oligarch. Like, you can't get any more Russian. The Sausage King of Russia was shot with a crossbow in a sauna.
Consequent free too.
Right?
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, well, the local police department goes like, well, that's what they do.
I guess, yeah, it's normal.
But if you could
Local police
choose,
department was probably named after him.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
if you could
The
choose
sausage police.
if you could choose a death, wouldn't that be up there? Like shot with a crossbow.
Shot
in
by
a sauna?
crossbow.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of
In a
nowhere.
sauna,
That's
yeah.
in a sauna. That's
Actually pretty dope.
That's a pretty good way to go.
I think I want to be called the Sausage King. That's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, and you're called the Sausage King.
Yeah.
I'd like to be nuked.
You know what's ironic? That
You
he
liked
was
it.
gay.
Oh, nuked is
Wait.
Yeah, I want a nuclear bomb.
Wait.
Because I want every motherfucker I know to have to deal with the same shit I'm dealing with.
Whenever you just go out in somewhere in the desert in Arizona and only you get nuked, like it's a personal.
I'm hike for peyote and I stumble across a military test.
You were personally nuked.
You're so important. Somebody pushed a red button just to kill you with a nuclear.
It would really suck if you're just a little bit too far away and all you get is like severe sunburns.
Yeah, and like cancer, fucking lobster hands.
Yeah, Harry's standing right next to you and dies.
You end up like Stephen Hawkins. You go.
There's a guy who survived both Japanese bombings.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Tell this story.
But yeah, he got bombed in Hiroshima and was like, let me get the fuck out of here. Survived that. He's like, I'll go to Nagasaki. That'll be chill. And then instantly an atomic bomb lands on Nagasaki.
I bet his wisdom like tell us.
But he survived in like no injuries, no radiation poisoning. Like what?
No, he had some injuries. I read this story as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember how he came out of those two fucking atomic bombs.
He had burns, but they were not super severe. Because apparently, and this is quite funny, some of the clothing actually protects you. Like if you have
heard that.
Thick cotton layers actually protect you from radiation, like the immediate impact. But everything that's not covered burns, like it's like severe sunburns.
Yeah.
So, but he made it through. Yeah.
They asked him one piece of advice that he would give anyone, like throughout your life, going through this, like what piece of advice would you? No, he was like, I'll tell you one thing. The nuclear bomb never strikes in the same place twice.
There's no way you would ever look at the crater that used to be Hiroshima and be like, it's probably safe if I just stay here. 100% what?
But the terrible thing about this is that if there is a nuclear bomb in Switzerland, all the Swiss are going to survive that were skiing. Like,
because everyone's in the mountains
and they've got their sun cream and the whole thing.
The one thing that baffles me about this is like the amount of PTSD that human being must have been dealing with. Like, there's a lot of fireworks in Asia, and
yeah, he's just constantly hitting the ground. In the army, when they train you to survive nuclear bombs, just like put your head down and your ass up.
Yeah.
He's like a dog. They have to lock him inside during the
Did they tell you
museum.
this as well, that you have to put on when the nuclear bomb hits, the one thing that you should put on is your poncho?
Yes. Of course.
Yes.
Put on your poncho and face away from the blast.
Yes. Yes. It's like,
am I the only one who doesn't get shit about this training at all? Like,
it was the dumbest thing. It was just like, you're serious.
And another thing that cracked me up was they were training for possible dangerous animal encounters that were in the area when we were going into the field, and they're like, how to get away from bears, how to get away from all this certain snakes and shit. When they got to mountain lions, they were like, if you encounter a mountain lion, you have to fight it.
Just fucking shoot it.
You can't get up a tree, you can't run zigzag, you can't play dead. You have to fucking hold your ground and fight them.
That's amazing.
Turns out that what they mean is make yourself big and throw stuff and scare him, but they made it sound like you're like, all right, let's
do a Putin on
let's fucker on the nose,
Yeah.
like you're an Australian surfer meeting a shark. So you just punch it in the nose.
Yeah. Brian, you know what's crazy, dude? In Switzerland, they give everyone here anti-radiation pills or something.
Yeah.
In case of a nuclear warfare.
Iodine pills.
They literally mail you iodine pills to take. And you know what's funny? I've never gotten one. They're like, your life is not valuable enough to get an iodine pill.
Oh, you never got it?
I've never gotten one.
So, okay, Brian, for reference, Switzerland is quite small. So we're about the size of New Hampshire.
And paranoid.
And we have a bunch of...
Hampshire? Really? It's that small?
It's tiny. It's absolutely tiny.
I guess I did go over the entire country and then get back.
Pretty much.
So we have a bunch of nuclear power plants, and they're quite old.
Yeah, I see them on the train all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So you drive past the big fume boxes and stuff. So every place in Switzerland is close enough to a nuclear power plant that you could get fucked.
Right.
So if that thing goes up, you probably never have babies.
So they're not paranoid about like Russia or North Korea.
No. This is homemade garbage.
It's because
yeah.
Chernobyl type.
Yeah.
We don't want to land up like those Russians, you know.
But I would say the weird thing, going back to your face for a second, is that I could imagine that you had a minor part in Saving Private Ryan. Like you've got that very World War II GI kind of look.
That faraway look.
Thank you. Yeah, that 9 Mile stare.
No, just so like that.
Boats for the last 2 years, and now I have no soul left.
Exactly.
That's out.
That's Vokey.
Nobody cares if we pissed off Germans.
Exactly.
Yeah, I won't be at like a job interview with NBC and they'll be like, have you ever pissed off a group and like the Germans? I'll be like, all right, so you're good.
Actually, though, there's a little known thing because I'm half German. Grandmother was German, and it's well known that the Russians, when they headed over to Germany, went on a bit of a raping spree. But
leave it to Harry to just keep things rolling in a nice, fun way.
It's great, right? Like he's such
he's good at that.
But what's less known,
such an upbeat kind of guy,
is that after the Americans had fought their way through Italy, there was a lot of raping in South Germany as well. Like there was troops went wild. Soldiers.
Where are you going with this?
Anyway,
I'm just throwing that in just to add to some shame of Brian. You know, his people did Hiroshima. They raped a lot of Germans. Like
Brian,
how long can you stand being on this podcast? Actually,
we wanted to tell you this, Brian. So we come to the segment where you can plug stuff. Thank you for being the best guest ever, obviously. It's my favorite so far, ironically, because you don't like me very much, and I will fight you later. I'm kidding. Now we're here to plug...
Man, you're so goddamn insecure.
I am. Welcome to comedy. Welcome to comedy.
So you know what? You don't like you. I have no problem with you.
This is what you said to that community that you offended. It's not me, it's you.
I think Dean is aware of that.
A comedian trying to say thank you is so difficult.
It is. It's tough. No,
thank you, even if you want to fucking kill me.
Yeah, dude. But where can people find you? What do you want to plug? Is anything actually happening in your life at the moment?
This man is all podcasts.
Yeah, now is the time to do it.
If you guys, if you've been listening to this podcast, you're interested in the Alexei Navalny type talks and all that kind of stuff, Worst Hour Pod. We actually talk a lot about European news and Asian. Basically what we've done is we like to, in a kind of low key way, highlight that the whole world is awful, because over here in the United States, there's so much self-flagellation. Everybody's just like, this is the worst fucking place in the world. And it's like, actually, it's all bad. So
yeah, and that's not wrong.
Yeah. So there is no paradise anywhere, but it's it's a very funny show. A lot of people in our Apple podcast lately have been saying they get their news from us, which is very different.
That's amazing.
Do not get your news from us. We are not a news show. We come up with our takes 8 seconds before we go on air. So, Worst Hour Pod with Ramsey Badawi and myself. It's my favorite thing I've done in comedy.
So you're becoming like a substitute for Jon Stewart, basically. Like the worst. You're filling the gap for that mature.
Right, except Jon Stewart had his heels dug in for a side, and we're complete nihilists. Where there is no allegiance to anything.
Yeah. The Worst Hour.
Okay, so Worst Hour podcast on Spotify, probably Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find your actual podcast. Leave a review, because Brian is beautiful and porcelain skin. Yeah.
Just cool. Right. Yeah, the review can be 5 stars. Amazing skin.
Yeah, only 5 stars, please. And Instagram, you got Instagram, the new Instagram, the community offended free one.
I'm on Instagram as Mr Bryan Vokey. I do more of that. I have a Twitter, but I also deleted that. So all my social media is back to pretty much zero.
Dude,
welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club.
Dude, I think you discovered. Why did you delete? Because you discovered a genius viral marketing strategy. You pick a minority that no one's targeted before, and go all in on them.
Right.
Like,
before you say I target a minority, these are people from the Caucasus region. It doesn't get any more Caucasian.
oh.
The Caucasus.
Okay, those people are actually fucking scary. You've made a wise decision. I respect that choice. They will actually.
I actually have now an idea where this is going. So, well played. Cool.
Before I think I'm racist, no.
Honestly, the whole podcast, I was like, "What? Who the fuck did Brian offend? Like,
he
how
chose
far did
to
he
go
go
all in on the scariest white people. That is a level of insanity.
And then we do the whole podcast offending Putin as well. Brian, it was nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah, great seeing you from
might
heaven.
Actually get nuked.
Brian Vokey already in heaven. He's actually dead. He's not really here right now with his
Looking back,
background.
the whole podcast is like, how's Brian gonna die? What's his last meal? Will he have a pen pal before? You know, who did he offend? Putin's gonna kill him. The NSA. It's the whole thing is just Brian's death.
Can we call this episode "The Death of
Brian Vokey?
That would be a great.
That's fucking. This is all subconsciousness coming out there. Oh man,
we need your approval for that.
You're
title.
the next Epstein.
All the way. 100% approval.
I think this could actually be your new viral marketing. It's just a thing called The Death of Bryan Vokey, and it's like you Google that shit. The special, the Netflix special, the whole thing.
Make myself a Frankenstein in every obscure, basically, regional community. So they're all
Exactly. They're all baying for your blood.
Brian, thank you so much for being on. It has been an absolute pleasure, and we really hope that you would come back at some point because you're an awesome dude.
This was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
you guys having me on. It was a great time.
I have one last question. Why would you ever come to Switzerland?
Because I would rather, I like the road more than I like being at home, and I like the adventure of it. I like the challenge of it. And I mean, if you really want to be good, you got to be able to communicate your ideas to everybody and have them understand it in a way that's funny to them.
Even the Swiss.
It's not a great answer, but that's the truth.
No, but that's actually an awesome answer, and I think that's an awesome answer to close on, guys. This has been the XYZ podcast.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys later.